Hey everyone, welcome back to the stream. Oh my God. Oh, I can see Michael and Nina. Hey, thank you for joining. Yeah, I have started this stream again. Previously I did like the e-commerce part of it. So where we created the portal and then we saw how we can use NX and then we added up using NGRX for the main portal. But of course, I like the other solution, which is RxAngular also. So I thought of like, if I'm doing a new portal, let's use RxAngular. So users are or developers are also aware of how to use RxAngular. So I haven't used RxAngular since like we worked together, me and Michael. We used to work together for a client, and then I ended up like using RxAngular for the first time. I was like, wow, this is an amazing library, and now I got the opportunity to like show you like how powerful it is and how useful it is. So today we will do the setup, the initial setup. So we'll create a new application, right? So we'll create a new admin portal, then add the required dependencies. So and probably set up a small store using RxAngular. So let's go ahead and get started. And the first thing which I'm going to do is create the app. So we already have this Santosh workspace, and let's add a new application. So let's see what I can name it. Generate application, and actually I'm using trying to use Linux console as much as possible, right? So you should, I mean, give it a try. It's a really amazing tool. And what should I name it? Okay, so I'll call it a CS store, right? So why not? And generate a routing module. I don't want it. Generate an application that okay, I'll go for standalone. So let's go ahead and because we use standalone for our application, and we will use the same here. So I know RxAngular has improved a lot over the years, and they also have standalone APIs, and we will end up using them. So let's go ahead and do that. Great. So for our admin panel, what are the things which we need? Of course, we need a dashboard. We need to see list of the orders. We need to see the products, upload products, like add products. So let's start with products. I think that would be a good start, right? Because we know like what we can do with the product. We can actually add, edit, update, delete. Those are four operations which we can perform. And with NX, I think this is something which is available around NX 15 and above, or 15.2. Annex allows you to have nested projects as well. I mean, this is something not many people have been using it, but it's a great way to split your code. And we are actually at Celonis, where I work. We are actually exploring the way how we can utilize the nested libraries, because we have a very huge monorepo, right? So we have like close to 30 projects so far, and then we also have some shared libraries, so which we keep it in libs now, but we want to split our application code, because this code which we have in our monorepo is like the older code which was written using Angular CLI. So there was no code splitting, and everything is like part of a single project. So whenever we make changes, we actually build the entire project, and now we want to move some code outside, and then we are exploring how we can do it using uh, the nested projects. And the reason why we want to do it, I mean, of course you may be wondering, like, so far we have seen that we create libs inside the libs folder. Why not to do the same? So the thing is, we have like 30 close to 25 to 30 teams working on that monorepo, and we have 400 developers. So if we keep that code like far away from apps, it will be really hard to reach out, right? I mean, sometimes developer will be confused, like if this code exists or not, and they may actually go ahead and rewrite it again, because the concept of libs which we have is it's a shareable code, right? I mean, you don't have any specific code to your projects, and that we want to actually avoid this, and that's why we decided, like after doing a lot of POCs and like multiple iterations, some design discussions, we ended up saying, okay, I think the nested project is what we want to do. So I'll show you how we can do this. So let's go ahead and create our first project. I'll just go ahead and use an generate, and we can create a library. So if you see here, there is something called directory, and here I can create library inside this folder as well. It may give us some build issues, but we'll figure it out. Let's go ahead and do that because this is something I wanted to explore anyways. And live streams are best way to do it. So I'll say this is product. And by the way, if you don't follow Michael, go ahead and fix that. Yeah, and Inia as well. They have been doing some amazing work around the Angular community, and I'm a big fan of both of them. And if you meet Michael, then I mean he's the best person to have party with. I've never been there, so but probably next time. Cool. Uh, so this is our product component, and let's go ahead and refer the documentation and see how it is now how we can actually add RxAngular. So one thing which I have always focused on is always refer the documentation whenever you are trying anything from the scratch, right? I mean, probably the APIs which I'm like showing you today may not be the same tomorrow, right? Things will change. So always refer to the documentation. That's what I do on my all the streams. If I'm doing anything, I just open the documentation and go through it. And this is also a great opportunity, right, for you to also contribute to open source sometimes, because it's possible that probably documentations are not updated. You ended up trying it and then things that don't work. So what you can do is, of course, go ahead and fix that, right? Go ahead and raise issues, fix the documentation. This is all open source. I mean, it's built because there is a huge community around it who is supporting this project. So let's go ahead and do that. What we have is, of course, first is install. So uh, we need RxAngular state. This is state management library, and there are multiple part of it. So there is another called RxAngular template, which is amazing. It improves the templates performance. We'll try this as well, but first let's go ahead and use RxAngular state. So to do this, of course, there is a video by a very nice guy, and you can actually watch this introduction video, but I'll go and walk through the installation step. So npm install, I'm not wrong, I'm still using npm. Yes, I'm using npm. So let's do RxAngular state. And I had actually updated my Angular version as well. Um, I think I'm on 16.1. So yeah, 16.1. So it's okay. And I think it's and by the way, if you're wondering who's this uh, guy, so is Eunice. Again, another amazing person. I ended up having great discussion last year when we met, and he just had a baby this year. So hope you are enjoying the fatherhood. Cool. So we have RxAngular state installed. And for those using, we recommend updating. Okay, that's fine. I'm doing it for the first time. And yes, so this is the usage. So you have a local provider. So if you remember in our previous streams, one of the streams we explored the component store, right? So uh, component store and Rx state has, RxAngular state has little bit similarities. If you have used one, I mean, you can easily use the other one. I mean, you will get the idea behind it. So you can actually create a class, right? Component, and then you can inject the Rx state. This is how you will. This is where you will define your state, right? And in Rx Angular, you focus on the component store. I mean, the individual component can have its own store, but you can also bring it up. So if you, let's say, have multiple components and then you inject the Rx state in the parent, I think you will be able to still access the store in your child component. Uh, so we will go through it. Let's see. So there are multiple APIs. So we have connect, select, get, set, and hold. And this is something which I have never used. This was side effects. Okay, and set accumulator. So let's go through one by one. So we have RxAngular state actions. Okay, RxAngular CDK transformation, state effects. Yep, this is something which I have used. So let's go ahead and start. So installation is done. So these are all the APIs. So let's go ahead and do the basic tutorial. So if you want to or implement our state service, so what we have to do is, of course, we have to define an state. We have to define like uh, what data, right, which will be available in this state. So you have this interface like which defines your model, and then we extend our state with the component store which you have defining, and this is it. So you call super, and then you can extend, select and display state. So let's do the basics one, and then we'll move ahead. So here so if you saw like in NGRX, you have to actually import a state, right? So you have to say, okay, provide store and provide state. You don't have to do that here, right? So you can actually start from uh, bottom to top. Like, so if you want to implement state management for your application, you can actually start from the bottom, the last component in your tree, and then go up. So you can gradually implement the state management. And this is a great way to introduce state management if you are like, if you already have an existing application. It's like a good solution, I would say. And I would always recommend like going this way, because going all in is, of course, maybe you will miss a lot of stuff. So let's define it for product. And this is my product component. So I'll define interface. So first I'll call this as page, and here I'll create product.ts, and let's export interface, and we can define what we need. ID, we need a product name, we have description. I think we already have a product in our main application, but we will refactor this code later. So we will share the contracts, right? Or you can share, you can say the interfaces between our both the applications, but that is something we'll do later. Price, image URL, quantity, and what else we need? Price, image URL. And I think this is enough as of now. And what we need to define is, of course, we have to create a service, right? So let's do that. And I'll call this as here. And if I do something wrong, of course, we have two experts in our chat box who can help us. So product dot state, I'll call it at product state. Let's see. Or uh, why not to just use a service, right? So service generator. So I'll say, okay, this is an Angular service, and this is product. Let's generate this. And also, like, if you want to contribute to this project, this repository is available and open for everyone. You can actually go ahead and just raise a PR. I'm more than happy to, like, if you want to add any features, I'm more than happy to actually help you and get those added. Basically, I'm not that good in designing, so if you are thinking about like design doing some PRs for designing and stuff, that would be great. So I think this got added into other project. So let's move it here. Move, and let's move this inside the state. Great. So we have our service, and then what we do is we extend. We can say extends our state, and we have to define what kind of the type of method or type of state. So we can say, okay, this will be the product, and let's import the missing dependencies product. And I just want to use this product as of now. And then you have to call super to define your initial state. So you can say, okay, super, and we don't need to, I mean, generally, since we decide to create a reactive state by extending an existing component, we will need to extend its class definition and call super. Okay, select and display state. So next is, of course, selecting and displaying state. So we can say, okay, product service. and we can let's inject. So I can say, okay, constructor, and of course, as we have seen, you can also use inject function if you want to. But let's do the standard way which we have been doing so far, which may not be standard in future, but right now it is. So, and product service, and here, sorry, we have this and Rx state, component state. So these are two ways. This is one, like you can create a service and then use the service. This is what I have used as well, init component state. Okay, so product state, you can actually provide into providers. So this is where I'm providing my state. And beyond init, I can define, I can say, okay, this dot product state dot, I can call set. So this will be my initial state, right? So you can format and to get the data. So let's say this is something which is our initial state, and we can move this here, and then we can select the state. So we have product. We'll say, okay, this is product, and this dot product dot select, and you can also select like the properties which you want. So if you do this, I mean, you are selecting the entire property. So you can see it returns you observable of product, and you don't have to do anything. This is it. This is the implementation, and we can now render this data using the async pipe. So you can say, okay, this is product and type async type this. And let's save this and run this application. So I'll say, okay, this is product component. And I just want to do one more thing because we have to export all this. Otherwise, it won't be available for the our main application. So I'll just say, okay, this is export. I think right now the component is more than enough. And if it gives us an error, I mean, we will fix it. And then we can go to app component.html. Just let's use the new component which we have created as it is. We are not going to change anything. So I'll say, okay, this is or this one, and then we have to make sure that we are adding this into our imports array because this is standalone, right? So we have to add all the dependencies into the component where we are using it. And let's give it. And Rag, thanks for joining. Yeah, I know it's really late in India, but and this is the time which I get generally. I work full time, man. I mean, I have to finish my office work, um, and then I have to play Monopoly nowadays with my daughter, and she won today. Finally, product component. Okay, let's run this and serve the application. So we now have two. So let's run the store. I mean, this is after a very long time I'm playing Monopoly. I used to play it as when I was in school. But it's a good way to teach your kids like about money, like how to add, subtract, and great. So this is our store, and we can see this is where the product is. I'm sure this is visible, but let me just increase. Okay, I was already on 125%, but you can see we already have our first store, like no setup. This is what RxAngular focuses more on, like so developer experience, and then you don't have to have what we call it as boilerplate. Yeah, let's not talk about it. I mean, but yeah, you avoid a lot of boilerplate when you're using the RxAngular. Great. And let's set up. I wanted to explore the actions because I want to actually add some actions like adding a product and select, not select, but yeah, add select. We already have it, but yeah, let's go ahead and see. So we just did a normal setup, and then we saw that okay, our rectangular state works, yeah, right? And we proved that we can use it without input and output binding, but this is not something which I'm going to do right now. I'm going to see this Rx state actions, right? So we have example application. This is actions are fundamental part of state management, of course. Uh, the actions are like what operation you want to perform. So you create some action based on it, and then you call those specific actions. So how to create an action? So we have an interface called action. Then we have refresh user, refresh list, and what we have refresh generals. Then we create typing. Okay, so we say our action factory of type this, and we say create. Okay, and that's it. Nice. And combine operation, you can also select multiple operations. Hmm. Operations in component. So let's see. We have interface, UI action, submit button, search input. Oh, so I can bring this to a very like component level small actions as well. So it doesn't have to be the global actions. For example, adding a product, deleting a product, but I can also like bring it to submit a button, like give a like or share it. So all these actions can be defined as well. This is really interesting. As I'm saying, I mean, I haven't seen or I haven't explored RxAngular for a long, long time, but I'm happy that I'm finally getting to use it on my live stream. So global state, you can also define, okay, advanced. This is an advanced usage. So you can say submit button, nice. So let's create some actions, right? So we already have a use case. We have a product state, right? So we will define some actions for that. And let's go back to our service, product service. So I'll call it as product actions. And then we have add product. Add product. I'll say there is one called load product and delete product. So add product will be of, it should return me an product, array of product, right? So I think, but this is the type of data which I can pass it as when I call this action. So I'm going to add a single product. I'm not going to add arrays, but we can actually do this, right? I mean, I can have product and or product array. So whatever I want to reload product would be what I want to do. I mean, I'll just have a boolean property whether I want to reload it or not. And for delete product, I will say, okay, go ahead and add, like remove, delete a single product. So these are my actions. And then what is the next step? So next we can use the typing to create an object action. We will call action factory, Rx action factory. Oops. And why it is not coming from an Angular state? Sorry, Rx Angular state. Let's see. Okay. Has no exported member Rx action factory. Okay, this is interesting, but this exists. Let's see the API. Oh, okay. Because it exists inside RxAngular state actions. Ah, okay. Let's see. Import RxAngular slash actions, and it should exist here. Yeah. And then type of this. So now we have action factory, and then we can call action factory dot create. And yeah, yes, Michael, and that's what I did. So as missing. And then we have actions dot create. And now I can call this all this. Okay. So I think I should do it inside the service if I'm not wrong. But cannot find action factory. This is action factory. Okay, so I have to say this one. Okay, and let's say I will like provide some functions. So I'll say, okay, this is add product, and what we can do this dot actions dot add product. I'm just trying. I mean, I know I have to call this from outside. Okay, so this actions dot add product, and then I'm just wondering. So where is the code? I mean, so this is an action, but where we update the state because of the bundles. Yeah, I mean, I got it. So what I can do is, I mean, as per Michael, I can actually just inject this. Is it Michael? So we can actually just inject Rx factory here, private uh, actions, this, or I'm supposed to, or if I'm missing something, this private actions. Hmm. And then I can actually just do this dot create this actions. Okay, interesting. So, and now does not exist. Probably I'm doing something wrong here. Create, so I'm getting three. Create, destroy in ng, destroy. Yeah, probably I'm doing something wrong. This is not the way to use it actually. But yeah, let's see. I mean, Rx state, Rx action factory. Oh, there's one use case here. Uh, Now I understand. So here, so you can say Rx action factory of type this, and then uh, hmm, so that's right. So actions Rx action factory of type product action, and then I don't want to do this, but I'm not getting the other actions. So it says delete actions dot create and then destroy and etc. So this dot actions dot okay. I see add product, but it's good. Just give an action a type. Okay, so I have to give here. Is it? So I have to say it like this and say product actions. No, which type I'm missing then. So Rx action factory, UI actions, and this what I'm missing here. So I got actions, but I'm not getting this add product here for some reason. Hmm. What do I need to do? Create dot. No, this is wrong. I'm doing something wrong. So, okay, let's see the type definition. So it says Rx action factory create. So these are actually okay, giving me this functions for some reason. Okay, this returns an action. So this dot actions actually returns the action of type this, and then I can like use use the functions probably. Let's see. So I already have the service injected, so I can say okay, this product state dot ah, now I can see add product, and let's add a product here. ID2, name, description, price, image, quantity. And so yeah, I understood now. So thank you, Michael. Thank you for helping. So it's not something which is available here, but it is actually available in my component, and I can just add a new product. Let's see. It should be now there should be two products if I'm not wrong. Let's what's the error? So there is some console error. It says Rx Action Factory, no provider for Rx Action Factory. So of course I need to provide an Rx Action Factory here. Let's inject, and it should fix this issue now. Perfect. So now we should have our product one, product two, but on ng on init, this is a new product which is added, and what it should do. So okay, so it's actually not referring to this add product, but the other one. Hmm. Get set accumulator. This is different. So I was wondering. I mean, this is if this is referring to these actions, but it was not. Let's go ahead and actually inject into component. Probably I'm doing it in the surface, and that's why it might be causing an issue. But let's inject it here. Product action, and let's export this interfaces. So add this into here. Okay, I'm still not getting it. So let's start here. Let's start actions dot. Okay, interesting. I mean, this is the same which is in documentation. What I'm doing wrong. So factory Rx action factory UI actions, and where should I use it? So there's an example. Okay, create. Oh, sorry, I'm just too bad at reading the documentation. So factory, so create, and then I have to say okay of type, and this is what Michael was saying. Actually, you have to give the type. So I was right till the create, and then I just started doing something random. So we have to say create actions and then search input. So this is the type. Okay. So I'll just do product actions, add product, and now I can actually add a product here. Why it is actually giving me issues? Product actions does not satisfy the constraint. What constraint? Okay, let's read the error. So it says type product action does not satisfy the constraint. Partial product, um, add product, reload product, and delete product. Type of property at product. Okay. So I have to define here. I can see this is only search input. Okay, let's remove this two as of now. But still, and okay, so it says UI dot submit button. This actually isn't stream, is it? Let's say this is add product equals to This does not satisfy the constant. But type product is a okay, probably because I'm saying product or product tariff, they are incompatible, and that's why no. Partial and product types of property at product property and product are incompatible. Okay, let's refer the documentation, search add product, and then we pass a product which returns a product. So I'll say, okay, this actually returns a product, and still something is wrong. What what am I doing wrong here? Define actions over create, then use it. Yeah. So you're saying, I mean, I can do like this and just use it from here and product actions. This actions dot prop. So it's not actions. Okay, because this is broken, so product state. I did something wrong somewhere. Let me just comment this out. This dot actions. Actions dot create. Let's pass it here. Product actions. Right. So we have not this, but type. We can say product actions, and then it says, okay, create transforms, and what this product actions doesn't specify. The factory needs type. Okay, it's already there, right? So product actions. So I'm just wondering what is wrong here. I know. So Michael, don't worry. I mean, I'm just doing a live coding, so you know how live codings are. So things go wrong. Yeah, add product. Okay, add product incompatible. The type product is not assignable to type arguments of any array. The product provides no match. What the heck? Product actions, and interface add product. Is it the return type which is causing an issue? Let's see. Const and product is equals to this. What's type here? That product is declared but never used. That's fine. It says Rx actions of product actions, comma product actions. Uh, what's wrong? What I'm doing? This dot. So I created a factory of type actions, and then there is nothing else here. I can see factory is not used here, but then we can create a factory and we pass UI actions and then what we want to return. So search of input and then it returns the string. What we can do is I can try with, let's say, a string, right? So add product of type string, and then I can say, okay, this is of type string, and then it returns the product. It still gives me an error. It says add product are incompatible. Type string is not assignable to type arguments of any. Okay. This is still confused what type it is complaining about. Then you have that actions that you can use. Yeah, the factory creates the action. So if I'm not wrong, this creates all the actions. So I can split it in two lines. That's what I can do, right? So I can actually just move this and I can say, hey, this is okay. So this is where I just create the actions, but it still complains about some type string assignment. I think this is the example which you saw here, right? So we can say factory.create, and if I don't pass anything, it should work. And now it returns add product. Let's see. Now I can say add product dot no, actions factory dot create. Then we get actions. And this is actions actually. So I can say this is actions. Just to try it out. I mean, I'm still confused why it's actually whether I'm actually reading the wrong documentation. But it works in this way, add product, so I can pass a value, and this works. So I'm just wondering, okay, so this dot actions to this dot factory. So I can rename it as factory, and yeah, and then I can say okay, this dot factory dot create, and yeah, and then I can say add product and the product here. But I'm just wondering why it is giving me a hard time when I'm trying to just use this syntax. So I like this one. I mean, I can pass all the actions here, and then it gives me like what action I want to call. I can say this, and as soon as I pass this, it starts complaining about some type. Probably I'll figure it out later on, but let's do this. So now I can call the actions, right? So this is add product, and to get the product back, um, it already exists. So I can say, okay, this is products. I will just use products because I already have product. And this dot, um, let's move these actions actually in on the top, so I can use it outside. And products is equals to this action, this dot actions dot add product. So this is something which will return me the data which I have just added into, or which I have set, if I'm not wrong. I mean, if I'm just doing it correctly. So I will just change it. This dot actions dot add product. Okay, so finally we have some move. Yeah. So this is what I did. So moved actions here, and after a little bit of struggle, I did it. But let's see if you have the data, right? So quantity product, but I have to also display this data to the user. And here I will just say, okay, this is a CSS file. So I should not do anything here, but I can do products async JSON here, and let's see. And we have null. Okay, interesting. So let's go back and HTML, and let's remove this because this is not something which we need. So we can see our data. So we have this is product information, and then we got null. And why did we have that as null? Let's see. So we dispatched this action here, actions dot add product, and it adds a value 1. But I'm just wondering whether this value is available. Let's go back to the documentation. So it says, okay, so once I do a factory, I can actually call and save this value somewhere. So this select list and then UI submit button. Okay, so this gives me an observable which returns me the data, right? So this should return me the data if I'm not wrong. And this dot UI search input button. And this is submit button, which okay, pipes. And then we have search data. We have okay, we should have the data here. I think as per the documentation, we should not get null. We should get the one. What I'm missing? So let's go back and let's see. So we have this products, and then I'm calling add product here. I'm dispatching an action, an ng on unit, which passes the value one, and then we have products, which dot five. Let's see what does it contain. So I can use five, and then I can use tab operator just to see product and do a console.log. Console. There is no console.log. Why? Because products five passing the existence. So it's there. I mean, I'm subscribing to it, and what it returns. So it says it will return an observable of string, and this is something it should return because this is Wilson. No. So interesting. Uh, why I'm not getting the data back and not even console.log? That's interesting. Where is my console log? Okay, so what I can do is go to sources, attack, product, and let's see. I'll just add a breakpoint here, here, and let's reload. So, okay, this is inside tab, product. Okay, interesting. I mean, why it is not called? I mean, I have a subscribe to it, right? So make it in button click. Okay, I'll just try this one. So as per Michael, I can actually access it in on my button click. I'll give it a try. Just say button and click and just call add product. And here let's do add product and do it here. And everything is fine. So add product. Oh, okay. Now I do have something. I mean, I just saw that. Okay, it calls. Okay, it logs one. Okay. Ah, this is how it works. So this now I can see on my console. I have one. Okay. Now I have the data here as well. Oh, thank you, Mike. Thank you, Michael. So now, okay. So it's like I cannot do it on ng on unit. Is that it? Was that the problem? So I can actually just all dispatch all this action after the initialization has been done and then retrieve this data. But is that I mean I'm just trying this for the first time, so uh, is my understanding correct or I'm just making it? So let's now change this and say this is type of product, and now here add product, quantity, and okay, let's see what happens now. So we have this data. Okay, I'll just remove the breakpoints. So click on product, async file, just Click. Wow, this is interesting because I don't have to actually like add this anywhere. I mean, I don't have to do or like if I talk about NGRX, right? So for such cases, I have to actually also define reducer. So Michael, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but we don't need to define reducer here. We are just like, okay, you just defined your action and then everything is taken care of once you execute that action, whatever you like operation you perform inside that action. Happening before the template is rendered. Okay. So that okay, cool. So I got it. The animation is happening before the template is rendered. Okay. So of course I have to like what you can say dispatch an action after it has been rendered. So to update the data back makes sense. But here, I mean, just in this case, I don't have to do like reducer anymore, right? So this is my understanding right now. So it's this action is not just doing or not just creating an action, but it is also doing giving me like few APIs out of the box. So I don't have to like write my reducer. I don't have to, of course, the selector is taken care of. Like you have already a selector whenever you are defining an action. So no extra code, just um, define an action and then you're done, right? Uh, cool. So I was right. So this is nice. I mean, last time when I tried RxAngular, this of course it was not there. It might be have been might be the possibility that it was added in past 2 years, and I was not in touch with RxAngular. So this is really a cool feature. Of course, we can build a lot of things, like for example, all the crude operation on top of it. And I think this is what I wanted to give a try today. So basic RxAngular, and then we saw an action, which is a powerful API source. It's fully typed. Of course, Michael loves this term, right? No boilerplate. Uh, no offense to anyone. I love all the libraries. I'm big fan of all the libraries inside Angular ecosystem. And configurable transformations, we have lines in the template, minimum memory footprint through a proxy object, and lazy initialization. I think this is right. This is really nice. Cool. So we will uh, build on top of it. So I also wanted to like add uh, Apprite for my backend, but today I think we just ended up trying RxAngular and then how you can set it up, do a small state management. So we also saw an example where we can just use a service, use it, and then manage your state. We have, of course, so many APIs. We didn't use any. We just used like defining our state here. So if you see, so this is like the uh, set API just to set your initial state, but you can do a lot of things. I mean, there are a lot of APIs which exist, and we will explore them as we go through the stream. I mean, this stream will go to till I start traveling again. So that's in September. So we are good till the end of the August. So hopefully, I will be able to cover uh, most of the APIs which is available in RX Angular, and that's it for the day. So thanks again, Michael, Inia, for joining, and others who are in chat or watching me live right now, struggling how to write the code. But it's a great library. So go ahead and give it a try. RX Angular, and it works on enterprise application as well. The last project which we did together, Michael and me, we ended up using it for a very big project, and I liked the way actually it helped us to introduce state management and resolve the actual performance bottlenecks which we had in that project. So that's it for the day. And of course, if you love the project, go ahead and give it a star, and you can also sponsor Michael on GitHub as well. So if you want to, you can also do that. And that's it for the day. So bye everyone, and good night, and probably see you soon.